Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. My name is Emily Smith and I'm here to tell you about the topic that I chose, which was the Columbine shooting. This happened on April 20th of 1999. Two teens went on a shooting spree at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, which is south of Denver. This shooting killed 13 people, 12 students, and 1 teacher, and wounded more than 20 students and teachers before they turned their guns on themselves and committed suicide. This was the worst high school shooting in U.S. history and prompted a national debate on gun control and school safety, as well as a major investigation to determine what motivated the gunman. Eric Harris, 18 years old, and Dylan Klebold, 17 years old, were attending Columbine High School at this time. Speculations say that the two committed the crime and the killings because they were bullied, or they were a part of a goth group also, and the Trenchcoat Mafia, which was a very violent game, or they thought that the violent video games that they were playing could have been a cause to this. At 11:19 a.m., Eric and Dylan, dressed in trench coats, began shooting fellow students outside of Columbine High School, located in a suburb. The pair moved inside of the school, where they gunned down victims in the library. By 11:35 a.m., both had killed 12 students and 1 teacher and wounded more than 20 other people. After 12 p.m., the teens turned their guns on themselves and committed suicide while sitting next to each other. Investigators learned that the boys arrived to school at 11:10 a.m. by the cafeteria, where they met up and had duffel bags with 20-pound propane tanks in them, which was set to explode at 11:17 a.m. The boys then went back out to their car and waited for the bombs to go off. When the bombs didn't go off at 11:17, the boys got out and got all of their guns, which had over 900 rounds of ammo, and headed toward the school, where they shot kids outside and then entered the school, which we just talked about. It was speculated that the boys purposely chose athletes, which the athletes in the school, which they named the jocks, wore white hats. That was just kind of their way of putting you in the group as you were a jock. So they think that it was speculated toward the athletes, minorities, and Christians as their victims. One student, her name was Cassie Burnell, was asked by one of the gunmen if she believed in God. When she said yes, she was shot to death. The boys were a part of the Trenchcoat Mafia by a goth group, which we discussed earlier, that was a very violent gang, which hence the jackets that they had on. And also, through the journals left behind by both the boys, by both Eric and Dylan, the investigators said that the teens planned the attack similar to the 1995 Oklahoma City bombings. Dave Cullen, who was an investigator, not on this crime, but he was just a forensic investigator that heard about this, wrote a Columbine book in 2009 and described the boys as Eric was the leader and Dylan was the follower. Eric was always the one that was like getting everything together, and Dylan kind of came from a very small house, from a very small home with no violence, but once he got involved with Eric, he started to have these tendencies and started to get very violent. There was also videos left behind in the boys' rooms where they were building like bombs, and they held all of their guns. So then they basically came out with a zero tolerance policy, which that's what they called it, which prevents violence from being in their schools, and disruptive behavior is not put up with anymore. Columbine High School reopened its doors in the fall of 1999. The massacre left scars on all, but I think the most important thing that I learned that I didn't know was Marcus Maris was the man who sold the boys guns because obviously they were underage. He sold the boys the guns and the ammunition, and he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Also, Philip Dunn, who set up the meet for Marcus and Eric and Dylan, was also sentenced to prison, but we aren't sure how long. But I just wanted to inform you guys of this shooting, and thank you very much for watching.